The Independent Police Investigative Directorate, or IPID, will be investigating the multiple shooting of student leader and former Wits SRC President Sheera Kalla. A Gauteng Commissioner Lieutenant General Deliwe Delanga visited the student in hospital and confirmed the injuries sustained after she was shot 13 times with rubber bullets. In a Facebook post, she states, "At the time, we all had our hands up in the air and some of us were negotiating with the police not to shoot. I was shot 13 times in the back at a very close range in a targeted attack on students. I'm currently in hospital and I will have to stay in, according to doctors." She said another student leader, Busisiwe Siebe, was also shot and is being treated in hospital. Meanwhile, Wits, in a late evening message, said the situation was calm and peaceful. The message said 2 classes were disrupted, but they continued in alternative venues.
We heard reports of a female student leader having been injured, and the acting national commissioner immediately said that the facts must be established, including the incident leading to the injury, as well as the extent of her injuries. The provincial commissioner for Gauteng, Lieutenant General Delanga, then went to the hospital and visited the student, and she confirmed that the student had in fact been injured. We will then refer the matter to the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, which is an independent body from the police, to investigate the matter thoroughly. In light of the fact that there will be a thorough investigation, we obviously can't talk too much about the incident itself. Definitely not targeting student leaders. I think in any environment, one welcomes a person who comes to the fore as a leader. Those who have been arrested either on the spot, where police have seen criminality taking place during the protest or violence, or have been arrested as a result of an investigation, for example, into intimidation or incitement or acts of criminality. So it's not that you identify a leader and then go for that leader. That's not the case.
And we're now joined by NN7 reporter Giovanni Mangiani live from Wits University. A very good morning to you once again, Giovanni. We understand that IPID will be investigating the multiple shooting of the student leader. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Good morning once again, and good morning to the viewers at home. We know that the IPID is investigating on the students who did get shot yesterday, and obviously the events of yesterday, which have called upon independent investigations, because it is getting out of hand in terms of the violence that is happening across the country for the Fees Must Fall movements. But with me, I have student Luvo, who's just going to tell us a bit more about the Fees Must Fall movement and where they stand as the University of the Witwatersrand. Thank you very much for joining us. So just tell us, after yesterday's events, do you worry about your safety on campus today?
Initially, I would have said yes, but we have now been forced to find this acceptable. We have now been forced to be okay with this. So 3 weeks ago, you're damn right, I would have been afraid. Today, they might as well be part of the furniture at Wits, so it's okay.
So tell us about your safety. We understand that the leadership has been arrested. Some leadership have been in hospital, and some are now in hospital. And we also know that you and a few students have been arrested throughout the course of Fees Must Fall movement. Tell us a bit more about that.
Okay, first and foremost, I'd like to let everyone know that I have got no authority to speak on behalf of Wits because I'm just a student. I can't even speak on behalf of students here. Over and above that though, with regards to the violence and the violence that our leaders have faced, yes, it's tragic. But I guess the most tragic thing is that's what it had to take for us to get the awareness and the attention we are now getting. We had to have Sheera shot 13 times for us to be able to be broadcasted, for us to be able to be heard about the injustices we are facing on our campus. And with regards to us being incarcerated on the 20th of September, I don't want to cast any attention to myself for being arrested. I'm simply saying we are now being arrested for something that not only do we believe in, but we have been told it's right, it's just, so we can't fight anymore.
So just tell us more about these injustices you mentioned, and we've seen that some students have called others sellouts for attending classes.
See, the thing is, with calling people sellouts for attending classes, I'm a bit torn with that because students are now being forced to fear examinations coming up more than they support fees must fall. And you can't blame a student for fearing their exams more than wanting to be an activist. It's in your nature. You had wits to attain a law degree before you become an activist. So at the end of the day, I completely understand. Yet at the same time, I ask myself, whose student, whose child, which student should be on the battlefield while you are in class attaining your degree? So that's a question I would like to ask the students who are out there getting their degrees. I'm not judging them, I just need them to answer which student should fight for you while you attain your degree.
So we've also understood that students have issues with the media and the way that students are represented as mischievous and violent. Can you give us more on that?
Well, with regards to the media, the reason we are all suspicious of the media to the extent that we don't want them around us at times is purely because they document what happens here, but it's doctored so that when it gets on TV, you don't see the police brutalizing the student. You see the student retaliating to the police brutality. We only retaliate because it's in your nature to want to push back and fight back when a punch is thrown at your face. So it's only under those circumstances that we are suspicious of the media. Otherwise, if it was a fair playing ground and they had everything documented in their favor just as much as we had everything documented in our favor, then we'd be able to say that you guys are being impartial. But that's not the case right now. So under those circumstances, yes, we do have a problem with the media.
So final question, just tell us, do you see a solution to all of this right now? We understand that you are fighting for free, quality, decolonized education. But until then, do you see a solution to the violence that is happening throughout South Africa?
You see, the issue with the violence is that people only resort to violence as a as a last measure. You don't immediately want to fight. We've followed the right procedures. There's a fees commission. The president made a fees commission, yet nothing has come of it. It is only after we've tried everything that we now resort to being what people may say violent, we consider radical because it requires a radical transformation for us to achieve something. And we understand that it's not going to happen overnight. But at the same time, we need the government to commit to, at the very least, a date. Say to us by 2018, every student will have free education. Or even say every poor student will have free education. Then we can understand.
Thank you very much. So as we've heard from the students, it's not a matter of the students being violent, but they are being radical in their cause for free, quality, decolonized education. The fight continues, and obviously across South Africa, it is a reality that the police and the students are meeting at the battle lines. The violence also needs to stop, as we've heard from the students, but the cause that they are fighting for will continue regardless.
Giovanni, thank you so much for that update there, as she was speaking to a student there from Wits University about the #FeesMustFall movement.